Alrighty, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, a rainy Wednesday at that. And so that means it is house tours day. We'll be getting started on that real shortly. Just a couple of announcements to make for those of you that will be joining. We do have scheduled maintenance for today. It's starting up at the same, the usual hour, which is 4 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. CET time. It's only supposed to last about 35 minutes according to the announcements, so not too long. But again, as I usually say, if you would like to get some game time in, rather than watching this live, don't feel obligated to drop by. You can always catch this on YouTube later. There's also the double XP explosion event. Check it out, it's getting really warm. That's to start on the 24th and run through the 27th, so basically the entire weekend. Great opportunity to level up those alts that you've been meaning to do for some time, or to get some extra uh, elder points, elder gems, I guess is what it's called, if you have a capped character. I think you earn those double during the double XP. So, if you're looking for some extra amp points or things like that, it's a good opportunity to stock up on those. Just remember there is a cap. I think it's 250, 350, somewhere around there. So check the amount of elder gems you have before you get started, and make sure you spend those as you reach the cap, just so that you don't waste a little bit of time on that. But yeah, this week is EU's turn. So we are on Jabbit, and we are starting off on Varane Scheifel's plot, or Varane, or Varayan, I don't know, something like that. It's called Greystorm Arena Cross RP. I've noticed a lot of folks, especially the role players, usually try to designate their plots, whether it's intended for roleplay use or whatever. And since we've gotten a lot of cross-faction uh, abilities, I guess is the right term, or privileges or whatever, they've been starting to kind of designate plots that are specifically built for those purposes. There are some plots that are, meant to be like guild houses or club houses for a certain race or group. And it's kind of fun to be able to designate that in the title so that people that are looking for certain types of plots for use for their groups can better recognize that. So that's what this means, the cross RP. This one's been on my list for a while, so I'm glad that we finally made it down the queue to get to it. But I've got a note saying it's basically, I think it's like an arena and a gym kind of deal, so we should be seeing some fun stuff. Good morning, Portland. Excuse me. I had a sneezing fit a little bit ago, so I'm still kind of stuffy from that. So apologies if I sound all gross and stuff. But the rain, I guess, kind of stirs it up and really gets to me. So before we go inside the main area here, we're just going to kind of take a look around the outer edges. They've got a little bit of stuff built up here. So you can see they have a water feature laid in here. They've got a little bit of a drain for where the water is flowing out to or into, however you want to look at it. But again, it's a prime example of how a lot of people approach the water bit. You can see they've got the water raised up a little bit. It's not perfectly level with the ground. For one, I think the way the winding rivers work, you can't really get them exactly flush with the ground. And even if you do, it looks a little weird, especially if you're going to be like walking through the water. It feels a little strange if the ground level is exactly with it. But being able to line it with the rocks helps you to be able to raise that up. And because it's a fairly narrow strip of water, there's no real problem with the camera getting to the point where you can see underneath. The wider the water area, I think the more chances are, especially if it's deep too, that the camera angle, you can make it go so that you see underneath it, and then it kind of messes up the look of it. But this one's done all right. You can see most of they use just the gray stones. And various plants. And then they set up a lot of the plots when you lay out the ground. I don't know if it's all of them, but I think most of them have some kind of a dirt patch. And they've used this one to kind of make it look like it's a more traveled area. A lot of people walk through here, sit down at the picnic table, that kind of thing. Notice how they did this to get this little pool shape. They've had to layer in a bunch of these winding rivers to make this little round. We've seen people use that for fountains and things like that, but for this little pool, it looks interesting. The only issue I think most people have when they're trying to do this, realistic look is how much motion there is. And I'm sure, I don't have my sound on, but I'm sure it's fairly loud with the rushing water sound. But it looks really pretty. And even though, you can see the pattern, I think most people accept that that's just how that works. Now, for those that actually have the newer type of waterfalls and stuff, they probably have a easier time getting this shape and everything that they want. Good morning, Bones. And Poi, I can't remember if I said good morning to you or not. But good morning to you guys and anyone else that happens to be watching. So over here, they've got a little bit of a cave area. You can see, again, it's the same stones that they're using to line the little river, creek, or whatever you want to call it. And you'll see what I mean by how the stones are hollow. Well, it's not doing it now, but yeah, see, like earlier, the camera will disappear off inside it and make it look bigger than it actually is. It's supposed to be really snug, and it makes it look bigger. And it's only the green ones that do that. I think the sandstone ones are considered solid, so you don't have that problem. Of course, we find the little noisy lop guarding his treasure. This could be a little hangout kind of spot. You could have added mushrooms and stuff, make a little mine or some kind of gloomy cave kind of deal. I don't think there's anything up here, but like that little bit there too if you wanted. They kept theirs pretty simple, and I think mostly that is because once you get inside the main part, you'll see how much decor they've used to build this up. But mostly it's kind of like an enclosed, if I remember right, it's kind of like a town kind of thing almost. So it's got the chua materials, the walls and stuff, and then it's got these reinforced barriers or walls or whatever those things are called. Got a little check-in place here, I guess, to get permission to go inside. And then when you come in, you can see they've got it all enclosed, those walls. And like I said, it kind of has a feeling of like a little town, but I think it's mostly, again, I think there's the arena, and then it's like all, everything about this place is like supporting that. You've got like food places and the gym here and everything. So, but on the edges, a lot of it is place where I guess the participants or the opponents or challengers or whatever you want to call them, that's where they come in. Over here we've got the vendors area where they're selling various goods. Reminds me of Sade. Hey Aurora, good morning. Glad you could join. Same way here. Again, more ships and things this way. This to me looks like a place where you would put your mounts, or I'm not sure what. Maybe it's cordoned off for different kinds of uh, delivered materials or whatever. But I like this. It's like their own homemade crate here. It's basically like a, I want to say it's like a trash bin. I think that's what it's supposed to be. One of those you wheel it around, and but it's made out of flat metal tables for the sides and the front, and then it's books for the top, so that you could like, it looks like it's hinged here, and then you can just flip it open. And then the brackets on the side are hammers, and then of course it's got the little wheels. So I guess it's like one of those big trash bins that you'd expect like behind a restaurant or something. Again, lots of storage. Notice the pipes and everything. Excuse me. I feel a sneeze coming on. Tried to hold it back, but it's not really working very good. I like how they've got these kind of designated, almost like uh, not exactly shells, but it's neatly lined up, like purposeful, instead of just, you know, these little extra bits. They didn't have to add them in, but they did, and to me it looks a little bit better. There goes my stomach. I didn't have breakfast this morning. I'm probably going to regret that, but I'll get something later. Again, always fun uses of those welder NPCs that I never have used yet. I see something over here. Just make sure I visit every little bit. I don't want to miss anything that they might have customed. Notice they got all the little cords plugging into the power source straight up into the ship. Okay, it doesn't look like I missed anything. I see this, and they got the little arm there. I wonder if I can make it over the fence from here. No. Okay, let me just zip on over the other side. Oops. I can drive. Again, another one of those dumpsters. I guess that's the right word for it. So here we have, it appears to be an armor shop, so they got a lot of the different outfits on display. Yeah, exactly, boy. So here they have the tellers, just using the control panel, I think it is, a Cassian floor, and then the, what's it called? The cellar entrance. There we go. Took me a minute, but I got it. Back here's a bit of an employee lounge, I would guess. Some storage for the different gear. And look at the cabinetry. It's just simply an oversized piece of metal edge 2x4s. Really simple, easy to, if you'd wanted to, you could have added extra ones to make it look like drawers or other storage bits there. But they're using it just straight up and works really good. They even have changing rooms. Of course, lots of dressers. Let's see, which way do I want to go? Go this way. Another C's coming on. Another dumpster. I know it seems like I'm just kind of going around the buildings, but sometimes people put little Easter eggs there, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So over here we have the little diner for those that are coming to watch the matches, I guess. Pretty straightforward. Again, notice how they're using the oversized wall edges as the countertop. Those are just exile walls. Using the chains as almost like a beaded curtain. Again, the chains have no collision, so they work really great for that. The more you add, the little bit more opaque it looks. And you can do the same with the sparking wire as well. I just imagine someone like using them oversized as like a wall and then actually leaving one a gap and have like a secret passage that way. Hey Flood, good morning. So off into the kitchen area. Looks like they're using the ornate cabinets or chests or whatever as like refrigerators almost. Hammers for the handles. I love this, working double time here, having the drawer, not the drawer, the shelf as the countertop for both sides, so you have the pickup and delivery there. Oversized bowls for the base of the grills. Having the book, that's the open book, as like a menu type of deal. You could use any of the panels, like probably one of the fave is using the, I think it's the Exile Bulletin Board, I think is what it's called. If you can find a way to nicely cover up the big clunky bracketry and just have the screen with the scrolling text and everything, it looks really good for like a menu type of deal. Using the same bits here for their registers. And then I would assume this is supposed to be like a menu book of some sort. And then this is the main bit, is the gym. So you have your check-in here, which also gives you access to the bunker house, which we will go to shortly. This is the medical ward, where if somebody gets injured, they come. They're using, again, the same things that they use for the kitchen cabinets. They got that here as well. Come to this side, they've got the exercise mats. I guess this is for yoga or whatever. So they've got the instructor on the platform over here, and they're just using the mattresses. They just sunk them in a little bit to make them look thinner instead of an actual bed mattress. We've seen this in the other gym that we saw a week or two ago, I think, where they use the color shifting to kind of make them a little bit more variety. Over here is the weightlifting. So you've got all of the little, what do you call them, barbells, dumbbells, one of those. They're using the spheres, and it looks like hammers for the bar that goes inside. And notice how they sized them differently, and that's to represent the different weight for each one. Over here, I guess this would be the dumbbells. You can see that they're using the sparking wires for these. Again, different sizes of the little cylinders on each end to represent hammers for these little notches, and then pillars for the brackets themselves. I guess these are the different weights that they can attach to them. I'm really not sure how that works, but I think that's what these represent. You can tell I'm not someone that goes to the gym, so I have no idea. But yeah, I think that's what the plates are to represent, is the different scale weights that would attach to the ends of the bits like this here. And then they got these, I guess, I'm not sure if you're supposed to pull on that or something. I don't know. It's a bunch of hammers, though. Maybe use that for some chin-ups or something. Maybe that's what that is. Again, I am clueless when it comes to this stuff, so I don't know for sure. I think these are supposed to represent the different bathrooms. So you got the men's and the ladies, or it could be locker rooms. I really can't remember. Looks like both locker rooms and shower. So notice the showers. They've got bowls for the shower head. And then if you kind of zoom in, you can see they've got a little shelf here. This, I would assume, is where you would put your soaps and shampoos. And this is a chew cup, but that's this little shelf here is a suitcase. And then, of course, one for the guys or gals. I forget which one we went in. These are the restrooms. You see, it's basically just the doors are the exile walls. They've even used the hammers for like the little hinges, and then chewa cups for the handles of the doors themselves. Strangely, they're like sized down different. Not sure why. Guess for the different races or something. Over here, of course, you got your treadmills. Those things are really loud. If you're looking for a lot of machinery sounds and stuff, those are ideal. That and like some of the, oh, what are they called? The grills. They have those, you can hear the gears and stuff moving around. We still have the bunker house to go to, but I'm just going to take a quick look around, make sure I got everything outside first before we go in. I don't think there was anything else. It was just ships and then the 2 or 3 main buildings. Okay, so go inside. And I think this is where the arena is. Now, so I don't know if it's just a boxing arena or if it's like one of those, you know, they just toss out weapons and you fight till somebody gives up or dies or what. But again, you can see how useless the chains are. It looks good, but the collision isn't there, so you can actually pass right through it. But they're using metal edge 2x4s for the corner posts, and then just hanging chains for the little railing. Downstairs, aside from the mat itself, it looks like they have additional lockers and a little medical area for injuries. They went through a lot of detail here using different kinds of, I guess this is like for some acupressure kind of treatment, and they got all ribbons and knives and hammers even. Using the same mattresses that they did for the mats upstairs, there's little cots down here. These are just the medical tables. They've lowered it so the legs are kind of sunk in to make them a little smaller. That's if you don't want to use the traditional cots. Yes, these are the type of weapons you can get. Here's the practice dummies. They use the Skeech plushies for that. And I believe this is to be the commentators booth, the ones covering the match. They got their little microphones here. Notice this booth here is mostly, there's a bit of glass, but there's also travel posters, I think. And of course the maintenance platform. And then upstairs is for the spectators. I like the simplified tables. It's just, I think it's a pillar, a Cassian one, with a Chua floor. Simple, but it fits with this particular theme, how kind of rough and basic it is. Didn't need anything fancy. Didn't even have a foot. It's just stuck there. But it works really well. I like that. Here's the refreshment stand, and I guess these are supposed to be like the orders or something, or maybe this is where they take bets for the event. No idea. And I guess this is the VIP section here. Maybe it's the boss guy that runs the whole setup. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a, Fight Club kind of thing where, you're not supposed to really tell anybody, and it's maybe a little shady for like the betting and stuff, but I thought it was a fun idea. We don't see too many of those particular themes, especially in combination with gym and everything. I think it works good. They kind of followed through on that. Okay, so that's the Greystorm Arena Cross RP by Varun Scheifel. So the next one we're going to go to is get these letters mixed up. I think it's Ankuro Van Tassel. Van Tassel. I like the last name. The first one's a little hard for me. I think it's Bureau du Consortium. I don't know what that really means specifically, but I labeled it as a Western town. That's what it reminds me of anyway. And you'll see what I mean by that as we move around the plot. But I don't know what sky they're using. It's the one with the little dust motes in it. I don't remember my remodels, the names of it very well. So right off the bat, we've got this. It's almost like a little pavilion where one could come and maybe announce something going on in the town. But they are using a fountain, and it's some decking pieces, not only for the roof but for the railing. And then it looks like a cylinder for the base, like a pair of them, one sized up a little bigger, just to give it a little extra trim. I think so, Bones. I'm not really sure. It sounds familiar. It's been a while since I've seen that show. They too have a little bit of a winding river. You can see one part of it comes from the rocks over here, and then it leads off into those rocks over there. And then they've just built a bridge right over it using, again, the decking piece. Again, simple, but it looks cute and it fits with the theme. I think most of the buildings are out of the decking pieces as well, so they all kind of match nicely. Notice they even snuck in some of the Arctera stuff. Again, I labeled this kind of Western because it has that deserty feel. It's not exactly the sand. I want to say it's the Drusera ground, but I'm not for positive on that. But you can see they even have like some ice here, which I guess would seem out of place, but I don't know. Even the like frozen mushrooms here, uh, they snuck those in. Here's some more of those frozen shroomy things. Here we have a little camp spot, which is kind of weird because this is the hotel. I guess they ran out of rooms and decided to park it here. Or maybe this is the cheap room. I don't know. But I thought it was kind of funny that there's a tent outside the hotel. So as you can see, most of it is decking pieces for the construction of the building. And it's trimmed with the granite pillars. It's raised. So if there's anything that you're trying to sneak into the floor, you know, if you don't want that showing, you'd have to cover it up like this. But I like the layout of it. I could easily picture, you know, the horses or mounts or whatever being tied up right here. Got a little footrest even. See how they've got it on a picnic table and just put the cushion there. The little footrest. A little bar. Again, using the edges of those floors as the little uh, countertop or whatever. I love this little table here though. This is cute. It's just a couple of exile walls with a little bit of 2x4s. Same way for the little shelf. Using that copper gate. Again, it's not one of those functional gates, which is kind of disappointing, but there you go. I think these are supposed to represent the mailboxes for the residents, I think. But it's an interesting little setup. It's just 2x4s for the base, travel posters, and then more posters for the like the labels, and then those crates for the boxes themselves. Maybe it's that, maybe it's something else, but that's what I envision. Since it's a hotel, that's what I'm thinking. Go this way. Little storage space under the stairs. Little lounge. Look at this nice little table. It's just some cylinders and a couple of staircase landings. Oh, are you talking about where my cottage is, Blood? If you're talking about those, it's a fence post. See if I can show you. This one here. It's probably one of the few brown kind of stones we have that are usable. There's a couple others. I think there's some gates that have it and some light posts, but the light post that would detract from your light uh, special count. So it's usually this one that I use. So it gets kind of repetitive because the rocks are in the same order and everything. But if you want to look for something different, I would say switch it out with, I think it's this. Yeah, this one has the same stones. It might not be as easy to get a hold of as the other. I don't know if this one, I'm not sure if this one comes straight from the vendor or not. But yeah, I'm just using the bottom of it, flipping it over. Kind of the same concept as the bulletin board, using the gray stones on it. But you can see there's actually some green stones. But again, it comes on a lamp, so it really depends on how you're using it, how many you're using, and where you're putting it. You might be rather limited, especially if you're planning to put other light sources on, in the same area. But these are green ones. It's got a little bit of barbed wire and stuff, but if you're looking for a different color of stone, that might be one way to do it. I think there's another one, if I remember right. No, it doesn't look like it. But I can't spell. This is another one. If you want to get past using the gray stepstones from, or small stepstones, I can't remember the exact name, it comes from Starcom. Those are more uniformly shaped. If you're looking for something a little more like a pebble walkway or something, this one works really good. It's just that this one costs Renown. I think it's $2,500 per, so it's not cheap. But if you buy one here, buy one there, eventually you'll build it up. You can have plenty to mess around with. So here's the first room. Kind of got that Oran vibe going. A lot of Oran-y type decor. Even a little like hammock bed up above. And then access to the balcony. Notice each one's separated off, so it's like you have your neighbors, but you have your own little private space up here. I like the bed. Got the granite feel to this, all these stone bits. There's even stones for the base of the bed, stones for the little side tables, 2x4s, mattresses, and then sleeping bags. But I like how they've personalized each space for a particular race. So you got the orange, you got the granite. And then I would presume this to be the exile version, so it's a little more traditional. Travel poster for the little bulletin board there. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a little television thing or maybe a picture frame message board that you write on there, wake up at 7 o'clock. I don't know. But I just wanted to point it out because they did go through the trouble of putting the little pegs back here. So it's not just floating in space there. Again, a prime example of how the wind really badly affects the balloons. It does that with several other things too, but it's most noticeable with this because it's practically flying vertical there. And it's unfortunate because so many of us used this in the past for special custom built things, and now that's not possible in certain situations. I do want to point out the sign. and she's using probably one of the favorite neon lettering decor that we have, which is the detonator. It's just that blinky block. Again, if you're going to be putting together a word, a text of some kind, whether it's for bathroom or exit sign or something, when you first put them in, they'll blink out of sync. So it'll look like, you almost kind of wish you could leave it that way so you could time it or something, but once you leave the plot and come back, it'll be in sync. So it's blinking all at once. So it might be kind of weird trying to place them with them blinking out of order, but I promise eventually it'll look like this where it's blinking all in unison. Yes, this is the community bathroom, sharing it. Shower's just a Chua cup on top of a Chua pillar and then a big drain. Oops, this way. So that's the hotel. See if there's anything back here. Just so you can see the whole building. Again, if you're bothered by the kind of almost see-through walls where you can see all the gaps, the only way you can kind of fix that is if you put double up on it and slightly shift it a little bit so that the planks overlap each other. I did that in my bakery because I didn't like it being see-through. I was trying to hide things behind it, and so I just doubled up on it. It's a little more pricey that way as far as decor count goes, but if you're looking for something a little more solid, especially when it's to do with walls like that. So this is where I guess guests land. And then I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, the sign. I don't know if it's representative of something from a game or a movie or what, but it's made out of the neon signs. It's the ones with the star, the beer star one, and then the round one with the beer mug. A lot of people like to use the yellow one for like the stove tops, and these blue ones, they like those for lettering. Like Kathy uses that for her scoreboards and stuff. But I have no idea. I don't know if it's supposed to be like cherries, like 3 cherries, or just like a claw or like alien hand or something. I have no idea. It's an interesting little pattern, but I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe it's the guild emblem or something. I have no idea, but I really like the porch, the little walkway up to it. It's just pillars mostly for the bits. They use really big ones here, and then they just shrink it down however they need to. The railing is 2x4s. And then they're able to sneak in things like this Osun sulfur stuff, I think is what that is. And again, I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be, if it's like a trophy showcase area. It kind of looks like that, but I don't know if it's like a showcase or if they're selling it. It might be a shop for all I know. But you can see how they got this little display case. It's basically just the exile walls, Oran floors, and then trimmed with the exile pillars. Makes for a really nice little display case with the framed glass sitting that in. Notice they use 2 different sizes, bigger ones for the top and smaller ones for the side. Very easily could have just used a single panel instead of double here to make fewer lines across. And like, then you wonder, okay, is this like a food place? Because there's like a pot and stuff. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know what it's meant to be exactly. Maybe it's a way for them to just show off things they didn't have any other place for. A little collection of stuff. Secret lab? I have no idea. It might just be incomplete for all I know. But I will say this has been on my list for quite a while, so I haven't gotten this finished yet. I suspect we won't be seeing it finished for a while. Again, just random pieces out here. There's bones, but then they got the shield and the lantern and more claws and stuff. They do have several different types of fab kits. You saw the whirlwind one up front. They've got the little, I think this is the survival one, the garden, and the brewery one, Moonshiners deal, I think is what it's called. Here we have a little memorial grave. Looks like an upside down hugel for the headstone. And then they've got some 2x4s to kind of uh, outline where the grave is, and then just lots of different little flowers and stuff that are growing there. And then I think this one was the prospector's one. It's the one where you pick up gold and avoid the bombs. Go this way. And that's the crafting fab kit, I guess. So this is back towards the entrance here. So you have this weirdly frozen Chimera, a little gas station here. Come and fuel up your bike or something. This is like a little, I'm not sure what, it's a restroom here, which I adore. The toilets, I don't know, it's like a running joke with me, but it's just the bucket, a plate, and I think it's the wall generator or like the tank of it. Super simple, just 3 pieces, but it's we've not seen one like that, I'm pretty sure. So I think it's funny. It's unique to their plot, that's for sure. Let me see. I don't know if there's anything up here. Just a better view of the plot. And I think this is the bar, Rowdy Roustauer or something. See the hotel from over there, main building there. So yeah, I guess this is like maybe the saloon or something. I'm not sure. Been a while since I've been here, so. I love the terrace or whatever you want to call it, how they've built this in. Again, I like the building shapes a lot for those that are looking for different styles of how they put their buildings together. These are really great layouts. It gives a lot of space. I mean, you don't have to do like this whole little individual bits. You could have personalized, maybe turn one space of this into like a pool or a little garden type thing. This one in particular, they've just set it up so that it's more of a social gathering area. So, you've got your picnic tables for food. This appears to be like a little dance floor for those that want to come and share a drink and party with their friends. but I like the layout of it. Could lend itself to probably any kind of theme that you want to do it. And of course, the little saloon doors, we don't have an actual kind of swinging bit. I've seen people use it like this with using two doors. I've seen some use the windows with the shutters as those type of doors. That one's a little tougher if you've got narrow walls like this, because then you have a hard time trying to hide the window part that you don't want showing. But I've seen that used in a few places, and others just set up a faux door and have it open. So this one, I think they specifically wanted it to swing. Just remember, if you're using this, if you don't want it to be open opposite sides, just remember to turn your door around and it should open. That way both swing out or both swing in, whichever way you're wanting it. So this is the interior of the saloon, the bar, whatever you want to call it. Got a stage for the performer, dancing girls or the singer. Someone come up and tell some jokes. Here's the kitchen area. I like the register. It's basically one of those garage themed dressers, and they're using it upside down so that it looks like a little cash drawer that's out. Notice they're using upside down snowy rocks for some of the stone seats. Yeah, I really like it. Just again, the layout of the buildings. Maybe you don't want a saloon, but this could be easily turned into like a theater, a guild house. There's probably a lot of things you could do. It could just be an actual uh, personal residence. You'd have like fireplace here with some library section and all kinds of things. Have a more open house than having everything walled up into different rooms. Really nice balcony area for other guests to enjoy the show. Get a good shot. But yeah, with the layout and everything, they've done a really nice job of making this building without too many pieces. I mean, they've had to overlap some things, but it looks pretty. It's probably as much as I spent on my little cottage, and it's like a little dinky thing. They probably spent less decor on that, on this, than I did with mine. There's that little footstool again. Don't want to miss the piano here. We've seen many versions of pianos, and again, it's like the toilet. It's like with any other custom built thing. Each one is its own little unique treasure. So it's basically, it looks like an exile floor, front and back, and then trimmed with 2x4s and a nice little pattern. And then using books for the keys. You don't have to do it. You don't have to like count out how many keys and have the exact number of white and black ones. Just a representation. This is a perfect example of how it's been simplified down, but there's no mistaking what it's supposed to be. I really like this. It's a great version of a piano that's a standalone. You don't have to hide anything. It's all nicely boxed in. the more details you add, maybe part of it stick out the back or some. And this is nicely encased in a little package. I really like that. Okay, so I think that's everything in the bar. There's this over here. I don't think I went through here. This leads out to the back porch. All right, so I think that's everything on the exterior. So we'll go to the main house now. So in here you get a little bit different vibe. It looks a little bit more upper class, I guess. But I love a lot of the little details here too. So you've got this custom fireplace. It's basically the lopstone fireplace, and they've just boxed it in with looks like an exile shelf for the top of the mantle, and then 2x4s around that. A little bit of an oran wall, just to give a little bit of a different texture for the stone. The little bench here is just a couple of 2x4s, front and back, and then topped with cushions, 2 pillows. You see there's a little bit of a balcony up here. I want to say those are pillars, just oversized ones for the top and bottom, and then smaller ones for the railing. Here we have, it looks like a little office nook. Again, little shelf, it's just a wall with a 2x4 on top. Got a nice little aquarium going on here. I think, I'm honestly not sure what exactly they're using for the motion there. I don't know if it's cobwebs or what, but you can see there's a lot of animation going there. So maybe you guys can figure it out. It looks almost like something, I'm not sure what that is. It's swiggling whatever it is, and they're using it as the screen. I don't think it's water, because it's like moving back and forth, so I'm not sure what that is. But it's an interesting use of it because of its motion and how it looks like, kind of like water. Anyone want to take a guess as to what that is? I mean, you can see it's got some edges here. I have no idea. Fairly thin, whatever it is. I don't know. That one's got me stumped. It's a really nice idea, though. Different, certainly, than our typical aquariums. Here's another good example of how just kind of boxing in the bookcases cleans them up nicely. Again, that exile shelf kind of creating this extra little nook. Yeah, that was my first thought, but I don't know. It's got to be super oversized, I think, to have it look like that. Here's that balcony you can see from the front door. Again, I love how people can divvy up their spaces so cleverly. Yeah, for the cobwebs, I thought they moved slower. They were like a little delayed, but that looked really fast. But it might just be a particular cobweb. You know, I haven't enlarged all of them and used them in that way. So, because I know I used mine oversized for like fog in the graveyard. I think for not last year's, but the year before, Shades Eve event. But I don't know. That was the first thing that popped in my head was cobweb because it's the only kind of like whitish kind of see-through that has a little bit of motion that I could think of. But it could be something else. I really honestly don't know. So here's like a little, I don't know if this is a bathroom, medical something. It's like here's like they're using the table as a mirror, looks like, and then I thought maybe this was being used as a tub, but then it kind of looks more medical and clinical than a bathroom, so I'm not really sure. Here's the dining table. Again, really nice little bed, just some 2x4s and Oran floors. Yeah, well, it's one of those, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I think it could work for both. It just seems like a half and half. I don't know, maybe it's a Mordesh style bathroom where they've got some things they got to do, but I don't know. Here's the kitchen, nice and tiny. Using the Chua bookshelf for the fridge with combined with a blue light lounge table. Again, I love these simple little tables and things. It's just a granite wall with some 2x4s. Very basic, but I don't know, it fits really good with this particular house. Again, 2x4s for this little countertop as well. Just like I love the stairs, how they're done. Tried making these myself and it never works out right. I always use the standard ones and then I kind of lay in the planks myself if I want to look at it a little different. But covering it with that extra flooring underneath helps protect it, especially if you don't want what's down below showing. Of course, they've chosen to leave it open on the side, but if they closed it off, it'd still look fine too. Upper area seems to be like game slash office space. Because this kind of reminds me of like a personal computer where they like game or something. Yeah, glad you could join us, lobsters. Here's a multi, I guess it's a bunk room of some sort, but they're using that same fireplace arrangement that's downstairs. So you can see a little better up here. I think the main difference is the base. We don't have the stone down here. They've got it boxed in a little bit more. Small little private bedroom. But again, I like looking at these houses, even though I don't use a prefab home myself most of the time. I like looking at how people divide theirs up, make it interesting. So the layout is fun. Okay, so I think that's it for Bureau de Consortium by Ankuro van Tessel. So the last home we're going to visit today is by Alice Cooper. Isn't that a singer or something? Sounds familiar. So this is called Thade General Hospital. We've seen some clinics and stuff in the past, but not as many. I think it's a rarer type of theme. I think most places will have like a small like medical ward or little uh, doctor's office or something, but I don't think there's too many that go all out for just this specific type of theme. So if you're looking, if you've got a troupe that is looking for a place to do some kind of a emergency medical treatment kind of thing, and you're looking for more like a hospital kind of setting to set up your story or whatever, this would be a good plot for you. So, excuse me, presumably this is where the mounts would come in. You've got some fuel stations here for them. There's a little picnic area up here. And I believe since it's brown poofs that you see when running, I believe this little cropping here, this little raised area, is one of the upside down massive umbrella trees. If you don't want to use that or can't get a hold of one, then your other alternative is the upside down snowy hill. Now, I think you have to make it fairly big to cover the front like this, but since they already have this kind of large, it'd probably be just about the same. Is he really? I don't keep up with that stuff. It must be fairly old by now, I would assume. I mean, if I can remember him, he's been out there for a while. Um, just making sure I wasn't missing like little hidden thing. But this bit here, those are those thinking heads. A lot of people like to use them because they make great, we've seen a lot of forest bits because they have that mossy with the mushrooms. But those are the ruby-eyed thinker heads there. As you come out, you can see that they've used them here as well and spotted them here and there. It almost looks like little weird bushes, but it could be just mossy covered stones. They've done it. You can see more in the background here. You can see how this little raised area is kind of like cordoned off entrance. Wow, seriously? I don't think I've ever met anyone famous. Really interesting little path that they set up. Stones, exile floors, and then the Oran fences for trimming for the railing. Now, presumably this is the hospital here. Then you've got the main house, and then there's a couple of other buildings on the side here. So we'll go to the hospital first, since that's the main deal. Notice the walkway is just some of those gray stones plop down. Again, if you don't want to use one that's the same shape, we also have the stepping stones you can use. The upside down makeshift bulletin board is good, or any of the other stones. Some would like it like this, where it's pretty repetitive, and others want it a little bit more. They changed the size and rotated a bit. I tend to be one of those types. Um, the hospital itself, the roof is curved walls, and the rest is mostly Oran floors and archways. You can see a few domes for the base of the windows where they've added in some potted flowers, and then of course framed glass here and there. So in we go, and we come upon our waiting room. Pretty straightforward on that. You've got your little uh, desk, receptionist desk here. It's just the Oran walls with 2x4s layered on top for the counter. Back here is more storage. A little bit of a lounge area with even a small little kitchenette here. Notice how they use the two couches together to make it look like a little sectional. A little bunker for the employees. Easily could be dressed up a little bit more in detail with pillows and things to make it look like blankets and stuff. Maybe it's for the nurses or something that work long shifts and just need a bunk to pass out on. But it's pillars and mattresses. Easily could be dressed up however you wish, whatever theme. So this is the back entrance. Little facility here. Yeah, like I said, the queue list is quite long. I've got plots that I've been on or discovered, and they've been on the list for months. It's just a matter of getting to them. Because again, I have a lot of space plots, like spaceports and spaceships, but I don't want to do continual spaceports and spaceships. So even though I might have come by some well before I found others, I mixed them in throughout. So it just depends on the theme and everything like that. Like we've come across lots of Western towns, but it's strange sometimes when I'm doing the random visiting, I'll hit like 4 or 5 bars in a row, but I don't want to tour 4 or 5 bars in a single show. So I spread them out. So I may see them all way back when, but I spread them out as far as when I visit them. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that goes into what determines who goes when, but I try to catch them all. That's why I say if you have a plot or know of somebody that has one that I've got it on my list, it could be, it's just I'll get to it eventually. It just may take me a little while. Well, yeah, in real life maybe, but I like to try and kind of mix it up. The only time I don't do that is like if it's Shades Eve or Winterfest. I kind of focus on specific themes then, but generally speaking, I like to kind of mix it up each week so that it gives people better variety, and hopefully amongst all of those different themes that we might come across, someone will find something that interests them. Because I, for one, while I uh, admire those and can come up with the space ports and things myself, I'm not too interested in those. So I wouldn't want to spend, several hours looking at the same kind of stuff over and over. So I kind of spread those out. Okay, so this, I guess, is, I don't know what this is, like a lab kind of thing, it looks like. Maybe this is where they store samples or something. But you can see the cabinets. Those are probably the things that interest me the most. Those are the airtight containers with the detonators, the little plunger part being used as the handle for those. Same way here, just minus the handles. Looks nice and clean. Those the medical tables and the travel posters are really great for making it look clean and sterile looking. The medical tables, though, remember there's 2 different versions on the housing vendor. One costs considerably more than the other. I think the same is true for the Orin pillar, like the little flowery one. There's 2 versions of that, and one like costs like 50 silver and the other one's like 4 gold, and they're exactly the same. So when it comes to the medical tables and stuff, pay attention to which one you're purchasing so you get the cheap one. Here's another storage area. Lab kind of thingy. This is where the color shifting would come in handy, like if you have a lot of bottles and you want some extra variety and don't want the same look The color shifting will help with that. We saw some, I think it was Esper that was posting some pictures of that in the forums not too long ago, of how they were setting up a little lab works and using different files and tanks and stuff and giving them different shades to make them look like different types of goop. Whatever, like these, they were color shifting these to make them look like different liquids. That's really fun if you are willing to spend the money for that. Let's go here, I guess. Well, maybe I should just follow a route. Restroom here. I'm not even going to talk about that one. But I like the little toilet paper dispenser. I think this is supposed to be more like the paper towels that you dry your hands with, but it's just some 2x4s. They actually went through the trouble of putting that together. This is the one we toured not long ago. I get so lost in that place, I'll probably never find them all. But I'll remember that. But is that the one we visited, what, week before last, I think? That place is a nightmare. It's fantastically done, but I get so lost in there, it just makes me upset. Shoot, I'm getting lost in here, I think. Here's another restroom, and this one comes with shower, I guess. Meant to be shower, maybe. I didn't? Wow, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Because especially on plots like that, I get so lost. I'm almost guaranteed to miss stuff. And I feel so bad when the builder will message me later and say, well, you missed this and that. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But it's not intentional by any means. I try to catch it all. But I'm happy to hear that I did that with yours. I'm really glad. Because it's really easy, especially if, like in a forest plot where they've got a lot of hidden little crannies and stuff. I think, oh, what's their name? Varion? I think that's the name that they like to use. They're really clever about hiding their little hidden spots, and I just have trouble finding them all. Yeah, that was one of the things I was worried about, was especially if it's hard to tell, because I mean sometimes people will actually purposely not install a bunker or a prefab home. They just leave the construction site and they find clever ways to cover it up, and it's not always obvious. Well, I hope she likes it if she gets into it. But I'm glad you guys are coming back to WildStar. I know there's been a lot of returning players. It's just one of those things that I guess people get discouraged with it. I know there was a lot of bugs and issues and stuff that were bothering a lot of people, but it seems that they're coming back and discovering that things have greatly improved. I think these are supposed to be observation rooms where patient is in there and the visitors can't actually go in. Maybe they've got some kind of contagion or something. I'm not really sure. I would hope these aren't like where you come and spectate the surgeries or whatever, but I don't know. That one kind of looks like that might be the case over there. Oh, well, then you're probably going to be pretty surprised by all of the changes. There's been a lot. And a lot of it is like quality of life stuff too, like the cross-faction stuff we were talking about earlier. Okay, I'm getting a little lost in here. I think we went that way. I think these are supposed to be the elevator rooms. Clearly, we don't have moving platforms, unfortunately, so they've just set it up this way. They have the closed version and the open version. They're using those uh, tables as the little panels for the buttons. I don't remember that being downstairs though. Did I miss that completely? Oh yeah, here it is. I'll have to remember that flood. I'm gonna note that down so I remember to visit. I might have to wait till the weekend though to give it a try. I'm gonna like drop a bunch of stuff off my. God, I can't spell. I probably won't even be able to read that later. My chicken scratch is so horrible. Let's see, did we go in this one? This looks like examination rooms too. I think it would be tough to kind of set it up so that it looks like different types of doctor rooms. Like, I'm surprised someone hasn't done like a eyeglasses one where they got the E's different, like the M and the E and the 3 and, you know, like an eye exam kind of thing. I think that would be, maybe I should try that myself sometime. Okay, I think we got all of the rooms for the hospital here. Have a good day at work, Bones. Don't work too hard. And we'll see you later. There is the one fab kit, the Hugel hinge, I think is what it's called. And then they've got, I want to say either this is the rock garden or the meditation thing. I honestly don't remember what the name of this one is. And then there's the hot springs, I think is what it is, and then the garden back here. But over here they have their own little custom build. You can see again, it matches the structure of the hospital. So it's mostly the Oran floors and arches with glass. And this is like an auditorium kind of thing, where maybe some students, medical students, come for uh, symposiums or whatever. I love this little bit here though. Some nice use of the hover part pieces for this little podium. And then of course they've got a monitor, but also using the travel posters for the little backboard there. But really good use of the hover part pieces for even this seating area. Reminds me of the bleachers for the wild ball uh, field that we made. And I think that's everything on the exterior. Notice they did block in their garden with glass to make it look more like a greenhouse. A lot of people like doing that. Um, I've seen some do it in like a more like a round shape. I think that just leaves the inside of the main house. So you have the hospital, you have the little conference symposium area, and then you have this place, which is looks like to be, maybe this is where all their medical research is done for the books and stuff. So you see a little bit of a lab area here. It's 2x4s and a little bit of Cassian and Oran floor for different types of countertop. They got this little terrarium going on. It's just a portable planter with some different types of plants in there. All of the bookcases enclosed nicely in with 2x4s. Just makes it look neater. Even though it's the same bookcase over and over, it still looks neatly done. Bathroom, plenty of toilet paper. A little bit of a reading nook here. Again, making use of all those little odd and end spaces that they created by putting in the walls. The stairs are either domes or cylinders, and then floors for the rest of them up here. But just lots and lots of books. It's like library heaven here. Again, an interesting way of setting up the room and doing it neatly in a way so it looks like it was meant to be that way. Again, I love how they divvy up the space. Another bathroom. I love the toilet paper. There's plenty to go around. Nobody's going to be caught without toilet paper. I love the cabinet here. It's just 2x4s. Nicely lit up as well. They're using their light sources really nicely to kind of highlight the things that they want you to really draw attention to. The little kitchen here, mostly staircase landings for the cabinetry, with a few of those wooden dressers inset for drawers. What's that called? The airtight container with a blue light lounge table. I guess this is either a trash compactor, a dishwasher, something like that. Using the ship hand locker as the fridge. Apparently they've decorated for Winterfest. You can see how the balloons stay pretty still in here inside. And then I say that and they go crazy. See how sometimes, and even on the interior, they act a little strange. I don't know. I hate that suddenly, for whatever reason, the wind just affects everything weirdly. Here's the dining table that I'm standing on. Again, some more of those bookshelves. Ugh, those awful balloons. I think they're using golden skulls for the yellow bits. Again, nice use of the lighting to kind of brighten that up. Simple little table. It's just a dome sitting there. Nothing fancy. 2x4s for all of these stairs and walkway here. Okay, here's a little bit fancier bathroom. Here's the washer and dryer. It's just 4 floors, even a floor for the door. That little depressor thing on the detonator for the handle. Porthole window for the dryer. Here's the little tub. It's basically archways. I think it's the winding river, and you could either layer these down, the arches, keep that shape. I can't really tell from here because of how it looks, but it might be curved walls or some of the hover part pieces. There's a couple pieces in that group that you can form the bowl nicely. Shower, got files and the flat metal table for the little controllers there. I love the little swing chair. just a couple of, or maybe it's just one. You want it thicker so that your pillows don't poke through. If you're worried about that, just double up on this, but it's just a hollow dome. Very cute. There's a bedroom. Notice this one is got the same concept as the chair, but this time it's the bed that's hanging from the ceiling. So you've got hanging chains, 2x4s, a mattress it looks like, and then sleeping bags on top of that. I'd probably get sick on something like that with it moving, like a water bed almost. That would make me so ill. Just thinking about it. It makes me a little nauseated. Here's a empty bedroom. I love the little setup on this. That could easily be turned into like a little reading nook, little corner with lots of pillows and plushies. And the little bed here, add some handles or something and put some drawers in. You could actually double that up and make it like a bunk bed kind of thing. Another bed. This one's done a little differently. It's using different types of stair stepping effect just to make it look a little different. But I like that. And it looks a little inset too because the sleeping bags are like stuck inside there. So it looks really comfortable. Again, just 2x4s. So much you can do with those little decor pieces. Okay, so did I hit all the rooms up here? I think so. Let's see. Kitchen, bathroom. Yep, I think that's it. Yeah, because this was the other bathroom. Okay, so there we have it. That is Thay General Hospital by Alice Cooper. A really fun theme, as were the other two. Even if you don't decide to do those particular themes, I think there's enough little details like the tables and the chairs and other things that you could pick up and say, I might could use that in this situation or that. It's like using the domes for the little flower beds in front of the windows. Those could easily be turned into little balconies and such. Just little different stuff, things like that. I mean, it's just as simple as using this as the ramp up the staircase, making it, wheelchair friendly. Um, little things like that, I think folks can take away and expand upon for their own particular themes. Maybe you've been looking for some kind of grassy hill, and rather than using the Protostar Insta Hills that you have to buy from the cash shop, just use one of these oversized noggins, ruby-eyed thinker heads. Works really good for like a little grassy hill. Yeah, you got some giant mushrooms on it once you size it up, but that's possible, isn't it? Having giant mushrooms. So, okay, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope, if this interested you, that you join us again. We do these every Wednesday, and it alternates between regions. So next week will be Entity's turn. Again, the queues are long, but you're more than welcome to suggest houses if you come across some on your own visiting. If you know of someone that has a plot that you're confident I haven't toured yet and that you feel like it would be worth a tour, if it's your own, your friends, your enemies, whatever, I'm happy to hear about it. Doesn't matter what faction or region, just let me know. And I will do my best to get to all of them. Again, The order of how I visit them varies depending on what it is. Typically, it's in the order that I come across them or get them suggested. But as I said, if I have like 4 or 5 of a specific theme all in one bunch, I may spread those out. So it just depends on what it is. Or maybe it's a theme that we haven't seen yet and I just come across it. I might put it up ahead of others that we've seen before as far as theme wise. That kind of usually happens if it's like something like to do with Star Wars or some game like, I don't know, BioShock or something that I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing above just a general bar scene kind of thing. I would probably lean towards visiting the more unique one first. Not to say that the other stuff isn't unique too. Again, a lot of it depends on how much custom built decor that they've put into it. If it's really heavily custom built, I would take that over one that's maybe less so. Um, so yeah, just there's a lot of factors that go in, and so my apologies if your house has been on the list for ages, but I will eventually get to all of them. It's just, it takes time. And of course, it depends on how long I have to tour, how many houses we visit each week. Sometimes we go up to 5, sometimes it's just a couple. It just really depends. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're really interested in on getting in more involved with housing yourself rather than just looking at everyone else's, feel free to join us through the rest of the week. We work on my own little goofy projects. We do monthly challenges. This month's challenge is romance, and I'm giving out a little custom cottage. Uh, I give you the set, and then you are asked to decorate it however you wish, um, with the romance theme in mind, of course. So I think we've got just under a week now before the showcase for that. So there's still time if you're a quick builder and have an idea in mind. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. The best way of getting in touch with me is probably through the forums or an in-game mail. Those two I check most frequently. You can reach out to me through Twitter and Twitch as well. I check those too, but the others is probably best for like trying to convey some of the information that I need. And of course, for sending the set, I actually have to have your forum handle for that because the code is so long I can't send it directly through any other means than a forum PM. So yeah. Anyway, for those of you that are participating, I think I have 3 of you. I know what plots those are on, but the rest of you, I still need to hear back on that. So just be sure and get to me on that before Tuesday. As long as you get that info to me before the showcase morning, shouldn't be any problem. And do remember to open your plots up to public before then as well. Otherwise, I won't be able to get in to show everybody your stuff. So if nothing else, though, I hope you join us for the tours and for the showcase day. But yeah, we're here just about every day. Happy to answer questions if you have questions about, the add-ons I used or any of the materials that I've been using, and maybe you can't quite make out what items I've used. I'm happy to share all of that information. That's most of the reason why I do this is just to kind of help encourage builders to get into it, especially newer players that might be a little intimidated. They go and visit these full-on plot builds and think, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that. And really, you start small and you build up from there. All right, Poi, I wrote that down. Thank you. And so yeah, we're open to questions. I don't mind sharing the techniques I use. If there's some kind of little trick I'm coming up with, which is very rare, I'm happy to let you guys know how I do it so that you can do something similar if you want. If you're just looking for some advice or feedback, we're also happy to get in on that. I probably won't visit houses while on stream other than house tour days, but I don't mind doing that on my own free time outside of the stream to go have a look. Um, but I do get kind of frazzle brain, so if I don't immediately do it, you might have to poke me again to ask, because I do forget quite a bit. I keep a lot of notes, but again, they kind of overlap each other, and I can't read half of what I write down usually. So it's nothing personal if I forget, but I try to stay as organized as I can, but things do get out of hand at times. So my apologies if you asked me to look at something and I never did. It wasn't out of malice or anything like that. Same way with the tours, you know, I try to keep my comments positive and encouraging and supportive of whatever it is that we're looking at. I do joke around about the ugly toilets sometimes, you know, folks that use that Flusher 5000 thing or whatever, but you know, whatever comments I do, I hope nobody takes offense to them, because I do try to find the good about everyone's style of building, the themes that they pick, uh, even the way they put things together. I might say, well, there's an alternate way to do this or that, but it's not because I'm saying that their way is wrong. I'm just saying there's more than one way to approach a problem or to tackle a certain outcome. It's like the water features, you know, there's all sorts of ways you can build a water feature using the different materials that we have. So I'm just trying to show folks not only what you might do, but also what someone else might try as well, just to give them as many options as possible. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks, guys, for joining. Appreciate the support, the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the votes, the company in the chat, and everything else. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.